say destiny can hide behind the most ordinary moments. For Amara, it hid behind a mop, a uniform, and a quiet smile. She wasn't born with wealth or connections. She was born in the kind of place people forget, where girls are taught to survive, not dream. But one morning, she stepped into a mansion that would change her life forever. A place where she wasn't supposed to be seen, but somehow he saw her.
I wasn't supposed to work that day. My younger sister was sick and I almost stayed home. But I needed the money. We hadn't eaten well in 2 days. So I tied my scarf, grabbed my cleaning supplies, and walked to Lekki Phase 1, where the real money lives. It was my first day cleaning the Daniels estate. Everyone had warned me, don't talk too much. Don't look anyone in the eye. Don't get involved. But nobody warned me about what would happen when I met him. The man behind the mansion. The man who changed everything.
The Daniels mansion wasn't a house, it was a fortress. Tall gates, gold trimmings, floors so clean they shined like mirrors. Inside, the staff moved like clockwork, fast, silent, professional. Cooks, gardeners, drivers, guards. And then there was Amara, the new maid, the girl with borrowed shoes and a heart pounding louder than her footsteps.
The first thing I noticed was the silence. Not a single staff member spoke above a whisper. Everyone walked with their eyes down like they were afraid of being noticed. I was assigned to clean the West Wing. Just wipe the floors, don't enter any locked room, and never go near the boss's quarters, the head housekeeper warned. I nodded. I was too nervous to speak. The walls were covered with expensive paintings. I didn't even know what they meant, but they looked important. I moved quickly, trying not to make mistakes. My only goal was to clean, get paid, and leave without drama. But that goal didn't last long.
Because fate doesn't care about your goals. While Amara was polishing the staircase railing, she heard footsteps, heavy, confident, coming straight toward her. She looked up, and for the first time, she saw him.
I froze. He wasn't what I expected. He wasn't loud or flashy. He wore a plain black shirt and gray trousers. Simple. But everything about him screamed power. And the way he looked at me, not like a maid, not like a stranger. He looked at me like I mattered, just for a second. Then he walked past without saying a word. But that second ruined every plan I had.
In houses like the Daniels, words weren't needed to pass a message, a glance, a raised eyebrow, a shift in silence. That was enough. And after that brief moment on the stairs, Amara felt it. The change.
I didn't know what I did wrong. I didn't talk to him. I didn't smile. I didn't even lift my head. But suddenly the other staff started acting different. The cook, Mama Taupe, who used to share jollof with me during break, now avoided me like I had a disease. The housekeeper, Madame Aloho, started giving me the worst chores. Scrub the guest toilets. Use your hands, not brush. I said, yes, Ma. I said it every day, even when my fingers bled. I thought maybe it would pass, that they'd get tired. But things got worse. They started whispering, looking at me like I was a thief. And all because of him, the man who still hadn't said a word to me, but kept looking.
It wasn't loud, it wasn't romantic, it was quiet, like a gaze that lingers too long, like a question nobody asked, but everyone heard. Mr. Daniels, the CEO, was noticing the maid, and in a mansion ruled by class, rules, and quiet power games, that was dangerous.
One evening, I stayed late cleaning the upstairs hallway. Everyone had gone to the staff quarters. I was alone, or so I thought. I heard the sound of dress shoes. Slow, sharp. I turned, and there he was again. He looked surprised to see me. You're still here? He asked. His voice was deep, gentle. I nodded. Just finishing, sir. You shouldn't work this late, he said, then paused. What's your name? My heart stopped. I whispered, Amara. He nodded. Thank you for keeping the place clean, Amara. Then he walked away. That night, I cried. Not because of what he said, but because it was the first time in years someone said my name with kindness.
But kindness in the wrong place can look like danger. And Amara, she was now a threat, a maid being noticed, a maid being spoken to. That's all it took for people to start sharpening their knives. In silence. By the third week, the whispers became knives. Amara wasn't just the new maid anymore. She was the girl the CEO asked about, the one he spoke to, the one the others started watching, not with curiosity, but with quiet hatred.
I didn't ask for any of it. I didn't flirt. I didn't smile too long. I did what I was paid to do. But one day, when I entered the kitchen, everything stopped. Madame Aloho turned to me and said loud enough for everyone to hear, "Some people forget where they belong." She didn't call my name, but she didn't need to. Everyone laughed. I laughed too, just to hide the shaking. But later, when I washed plates outside, my tears joined the soap water. I wanted to quit. I wanted to run. But I had bills, a sick sister, a dream I buried long ago. I didn't have the luxury to fall apart.
That night, Amara stayed behind to sweep the private lounge, the room no one touched, the room Mr. Daniels used when he wanted silence. She didn't know he'd be there until he spoke.
Amara, why haven't I seen you smile in days?
I didn't even know what to say. "I'm fine, sir," I lied. "You're not." He stood, walked over, and looked me in the eyes. "Is it the others?" I wanted to lie again, but my eyes betrayed me. They filled with tears. Silent. Heavy. "They hate me," I whispered, "because you spoke to me."
He didn't laugh. He didn't dismiss it. He just said, "Then maybe I should stop pretending." Amara's heart stopped.
"Pretending what, sir?" His voice dropped. Gentle. Intentional. "Pretending I haven't been thinking about you since that first day." I stepped back. My head spun. This couldn't be happening. A man like that and me? It didn't make sense. "Sir, I'm just a maid." He smiled, but it wasn't pity. "You're not just anything, Amara. I see how you work, how you carry yourself. You deserve more than these walls."
For the first time, someone wasn't just seeing her, he was choosing her. But love in power is never simple. The moment he touched her hand, the world shifted because someone saw, and secrets don't stay quiet for long. It started with a whisper, then it became a rumor, and by morning, it was a scandal. The maid is sleeping with Oga. She jazzed him. She entered his room late last night. None of it was true, except he had touched her hand. He had said her name like it was holy, and in places like this, that's all it took.
When I walked into the kitchen the next day, everything stopped. They didn't pretend anymore. They stared like I was dirt. Someone had spilled cooking oil across the floor and left it for me to clean, without a mop. "Since you want to climb rich men, start from the ground," one of the other maids hissed. I didn't reply. I just got on my knees and cleaned with my bare hands. My palms burned. My eyes stung. But my pride got shattered. I couldn't take it anymore.
That evening, Amara packed her small bag. She didn't cry. She didn't ask for justice. She just wanted out. But life had one more twist waiting at the gate. Because just as she stepped into the compound to leave, she heard someone shout,
"Oga say make you wait."
I turned, my legs weak, my throat dry. Mr. Daniels was walking toward me. No guards, no jacket, just him. "Where are you going?" he asked. I looked away. "Home." "I don't belong here, sir." He frowned. "Why?" "Because they said lies. Because they believe them."
The staff had gathered, cook, housekeeper, drivers, maids, all watching, waiting, ready to see the maid walk out in shame. But what happened next, they didn't see coming.
"Amara, I've made a decision. I don't care what anyone thinks. You're not going anywhere."
My heart jumped. "Sir?" He turned to the crowd. I've asked Amara to stay, not as a maid, but as someone I'm getting to know closely. The air changed. Madame Aloho gasped like her soul left her body. The driver dropped his phone. One of the guards muttered, "Jesus."
In that moment, everything shifted. A maid became a woman of interest. A scandal became a statement. But power never comes without a price. That price was now knocking on Amara's door.
That night, I couldn't sleep. He had defended me in front of everyone. But I also knew this wasn't the end. It was the beginning, and love in a house like that never comes easy.
After that day, the mansion changed. The air was thick with tension, not whispers, not jokes, just silence. Nobody dared insult Amara to her face anymore, not after the CEO defended her publicly. But behind her back, the knives were sharper than ever.
He asked me to stop working as a maid, said I didn't have to clean anymore, said he wanted me around, but as something else. I didn't know what that meant, but every day, he'd ask me to sit with him. At first, we talked about simple things, food, weather, Lagos traffic. But then he started asking about me, my childhood, my dreams. I told him I once wanted to study fashion, that I sketched dresses at night with a torchlight under the covers. He listened like it mattered, like I mattered. And then one day, he brought me a gift, a sketchbook, real pencils, fabric samples. If you're going to dream, he said, dream with the right tools.
But in Lagos, good things rarely come without noise. News began to spread, even outside the mansion. The CEO has fallen for the maid. It made its way to business circles and family dinner tables, especially his family.
He warned me before they came. My mother, she's traditional. She won't understand. I said, I'm not asking her to. But nothing could prepare me for meeting Mrs. Daniels.
She arrived in a long lace dress, gold shield, eyes sharp like razors. She didn't greet Amara. She scanned her, like a virus she was trying to trace. "This is her," she said to her son. "This is the girl shaking our name?" Amara stood still, not because she was weak, but because sometimes dignity is silent.
She told me I would never be accepted, that no matter how clean I dressed, I would always smell like poverty. That when they say Mrs. Daniels in society, they expect class, not a cleaner. I didn't reply, but that night, I started to doubt everything. I didn't cry. I couldn't. I just sat on the edge of the bed and stared at my hands. Same hands that scrubbed toilets. Same hands that now held the attention of a billionaire. And I asked myself, am I enough?
But while Amara wrestled with doubt, someone else was working in the shadows. Jealousy has many faces, and one of them wore perfume and pearls. Her name was Tasha, Mr. Daniel's former fiancée, the one society expected him to marry, the one who never forgave him for ending it quietly.
I saw her once, standing by the gate in a red dress. She didn't look at me. She looked through me. Later that week, strange things started happening. My sketchbook disappeared. A fake email was sent to a gossip blog, using my name, accusing Mr. Daniels of coercion. Then a message was sent to his board members. He's being blackmailed by the maid. He confronted me. I cried. You believe I'd do that? I asked. No, he said. But they do.
In less than 24 hours, the mansion turned cold again. The staff didn't speak to her. Mr. Daniels withdrew, not out of anger, but strategy. "I need to fix this quietly," he said, "for both of us."
I waited. 1 day, 2 days, 5. No messages, no calls, just silence. And silence can feel like abandonment. The same people who once feared me now smirked when I walked past. One even whispered, "Play big girl, get played." That night, I packed my bag again, for the second time. But this time I left.
She didn't leave a note. She didn't ask for goodbye. She simply disappeared, like smoke after the fire. Amara disappeared from the mansion, but not from Mr. Daniel's mind. He searched for her, called her, asked questions no one else dared, but Amara wasn't ready to return. Not yet. She needed to find herself, outside the walls of gold and gossip.
I went back to my old neighborhood, to the place where dreams felt small, but real. I started sketching again, on my own terms, no pressure, just me and my pencils.
But love has a way of finding you, even when you hide. One rainy evening, he showed up at her doorstep, not as a CEO, not as a man with power, but as a man who had learned what really mattered.
Amara, I'm sorry for everything. I was too caught up in the world, and I forgot the one thing that made it worth it. You.
I looked at him, and for the first time, I didn't feel like a maid. I felt like a woman who had fought, lost, and won. I'm not the same girl who walked into your mansion, I said, but maybe we can build something new.
And so, from broomsticks and boardrooms, from silence and whispers, a love story was born. Not perfect, not easy, but real, because sometimes the greatest power lies in the courage to change your own story.